The world has ended. Not with a bang, but with a bite. A mutated strain of mad cow disease jumped to humans, turning ordinary people into flesh-hungry monsters in a matter of seconds. Cities fell, governments collapsed, and within weeks, most of the population was gone. This is the story of 4 survivors who never learn each other's real names, who rely on nothing but rules, luck, and each other to stay alive in a country crawling with the undead. Let's dive into Zombieland. We meet our narrator, a jittery, obsessive college student who has survived this long by following a strict list of self-made rules. Things like, always check the back seat, wear seat belts, and never, ever be a hero. He's socially awkward, phobic of clowns, and has spent his life as a loner, which, ironically, is exactly what's kept him alive while more social, more confident people got eaten. He's making his way to his hometown of Columbus, Ohio, hoping to find his parents, though he suspects deep down they're already gone. Along the way, he demonstrates his rules in flashback style. Asides, cardio matters, because the slow survivors don't survive. Double tap every zombie to make sure it's really dead, and beware of bathrooms, a classic death trap in horror stories. While hitchhiking, he's picked up by a gruff, unnamed stranger driving a black Cadillac Escalade. This stranger is everything our narrator isn't: brash, fearless, and clearly relishing the chaos of the apocalypse. He's on a personal mission: find the last Twinkie on Earth, a snack he's become borderline obsessed with since the world fell apart. The two agree to travel together, introducing themselves only by the names of the cities they're heading to. Our narrator becomes Columbus, and the stranger becomes Tallahassee. Stopping at a grocery store for supplies, Columbus and Tallahassee cross paths with 2 sisters, a sharp, guarded older sister and her clever younger sibling. The girls pull an elaborate con, pretending the younger one has been bitten to distract the men, then stealing their car and weapons at gunpoint before speeding off, leaving the guys stranded. Following the same naming convention, the sisters are known as Wichita and Little Rock. Furious but resourceful, Tallahassee and Columbus find another vehicle and press on toward Columbus's family home. Arriving at his childhood house, Columbus finds it ransacked and empty, no parents, just eerie silence and untouched rooms frozen in time. It's a quietly devastating moment. Whatever happened to his family, he'll likely never know for certain. He allows himself to grieve briefly before refocusing on the only thing that matters now: staying alive. Not long after, the group's paths cross again. Wichita and Little Rock, now low on supplies and gas, are forced to team up with the very men they robbed. Tensions are high, trust is non-existent, but with zombies everywhere, splitting up isn't a real option. The uneasy foursome decides to travel together toward the sisters' true destination, an amusement park in California called Pacific Playland, which Little Rock has fixated on as a rumored zombie-free safe haven advertised on an old billboard. Tallahassee, still chasing his Twinkie obsession and his own unspoken grief, agrees to drive them in exchange for temporary safety in numbers. Along the road, we get glimpses of who these people really are underneath the toughened exteriors. Tallahassee's aggressive, wisecracking bravado masks real pain. Hints emerge that he lost someone dear to him, a young son, in the early chaos of the outbreak, though he refuses to talk about it directly. Columbus, meanwhile, begins to develop a cautious, awkward attraction to Wichita, who keeps him at arm's length, wary of getting close to anyone she might lose. Needing a place to lay low, the group breaks into the sprawling Beverly Hills mansion of a famous actor and comedian, hoping to loot supplies. In one of the film's most memorable detours, the actor is still alive, hiding out in his own home, and invites the stunt group to stay and enjoy some normalcy: good food, alcohol, and a real house instead of an abandoned gas station. They spend an evening pretending life is normal again, playing games, drinking, and briefly forgetting the horror outside the walls. But the illusion shatters violently when the actor, having faked a zombie bite as part of an elaborate practical joke, is accidentally shot by Columbus, who mistakes the prank for a real infection. It's a tragic, almost darkly comic moment, a reminder that in this world, hesitation costs lives, but so does panic. Shaken, the group gives their host a proper goodbye and continues on toward California, the mood noticeably heavier. As they get closer to the amusement park, the emotional stakes rise. Columbus finally works up the courage to express real feelings for Wichita, and for a moment, it seems like the group might actually become something like a family. But old habits die hard. Wichita, true to form, drugs the guy's drinks that night and attempts to slip away with Little Rock again, unwilling to let herself depend on people she's not sure she can trust to stick around. Columbus wakes just in time to stop them from leaving unnoticed, and in a quietly important moment, he chooses to trust her anyway and lets them go without incident, or ends up rejoining them, solidifying that whatever this group has become, it's more than just an alliance of convenience now. Tallahassee, for his part, is done governing his emotions and increasingly looks at Little Rock as a stand-in for the son he lost. The group reunites and finally arrives at Pacific Playland, only to find it isn't the sanctuary Little Rock imagined. It's abandoned, decrepit, and, worse, it becomes overrun by a massive horde of zombies almost immediately after they enter, drawn in by the noise of the park's power generator being switched on for lights and rides. What follows is the film's big set piece, a prolonged, high-energy battle for survival as the group is forced to fight through wave after wave of zombies using carnival weapons, rides, and improvised tactics. Little Rock and Wichita get trapped on top of a spinning fairground ride, unable to escape as zombies close in from every direction. Tallahassee and Columbus race to save them, unloading everything they have: guns, rides repurposed as weapons, even a runaway bumper car, against the horde. In the middle of the chaos, Columbus faces down a group of zombies alone to protect the others, finally embodying the kind of selfless bravery his old rulebook always warned him against. It's the moment his character fully transforms from a paranoid loner into someone willing to risk everything for people he's chosen as family.
Tallahassee, in the film's most triumphant sequence, unloads his frustration and grief into an over-the-top gunfight, mowing down zombies with gleeful, cathartic fury as the group works together to clear the horde and free the girls from the ride. Against the odds, they succeed. The park falls silent, the zombies dealt with, and the group, bruised but alive, regroups amid the wreckage of the amusement park. In a quiet, satisfying payoff, Tallahassee finally gets his long-sought Twinkie, courtesy of a vending machine on the ride platform, delivering the small, well-earned victory the whole road trip had been building toward. As dawn breaks over the wrecked amusement park, the four survivors sit together among the rubble, no longer strangers bonded only by convenience, but something closer to a real, chosen family. Wichita and Little Rock decide to stay with Columbus and Tallahassee rather than run again, and the group looks ahead, battered, uncertain, but no longer alone in a world that's taken almost everything else from them. The film closes on that fragile hope. Survival isn't just about rules and reflexes. It's about who you choose to survive with.
That's Zombieland, equal parts horror, comedy, and unexpected heart, wrapped in one of the most quotable road trip survival stories of its era. If you enjoyed this recap, let us know in the comments which rule of Zombieland you'd follow first, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie breakdowns. The rules that open the film pop up throughout as little reminders of how people cope. Sometimes the rules fail, sometimes they save lives, but mostly they remind us that surviving is a combination of luck, choices, and the people you've got the stomach to stick with. The movie nods at genre conventions, buddy films, road movies, teen rom-coms, and stitches them together into something that's clever and surprisingly warm. By the end, the survivors find a kind of compromise. They accept the absurdity, keep the jokes, and try to carve out joy in a destroyed world. There are losses, and there's the inevitable messy business of keeping one's humanity, but there are also small, stubborn victories. Zombieland doesn't pretend the apocalypse is anything but bleak, but it insists on laughter as medicine. You'll leave smiling at the ridiculousness of the situations, rooting for an oddball little family, and maybe craving a Twinkie. That mix of gory gags and actual heart is the movie's secret sauce. It's goofy, it's smart, and it really wants you to care about these misfits who, against all odds, teach each other how to live again.